Now, petrol prices in Nigeria could go up to about 1,400 naira per liter this week as marketers wait on a possible price adjustment by Dangote Refinery amid surging crude oil prices and supply constraints. Multiple industry sources said that loading had been halted at the refinery, raising expectations of a fresh ex-depot price announcement as early as today. Now, the development follows a surge in international crude linked to escalating war in the Middle East, with Brent trading around $85 and Bonnie Light above $83 per barrel. Petroleum confirmed no member-loaded petrol from the refinery on Sunday. Meanwhile, the Dangote Group dismissed claims of halted loading, with the Chief Corporate Communications Officer Anthony Chiegina describing the report as nonsense and insisting that pricing would reflect international market conditions. Current pump prices already average 1,050 naira to 1,057 per liter across Lagos, with Miman data showing ex-depot prices ranging between 940 naira and 1,000 naira. Joining us now is the National President of Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Billy Gillis-Harry, for an expert discussion on petrol pump price volatility, while giving us tips on how to cope with the trying times caused by the war in Iran. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me in your studios today.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Nigeria.
Of course. And I think one big question on a lot of people's minds is, when can we expect prices to essentially level out? Or is this a case of it will fully depend on what President Trump does or decide?
Well, it looks like President Trump's decision is very germane and key in how this will develop, but he's not alone. The Iranians also have their say, the Israelis have their say, and even other Mid-Eastern countries also have their say and their actions, all of which collectively has put us to where we are today. We just hope, that these, reprisal attacks will abate and we'll get to the point where we should be able to have a better business environment in that axis.
Well, Nigeria is an oil-producing country, yet Nigerians often feel the impact of global shocks more sharply than expected. Why does the country remain so vulnerable to international oil market volatility?
Well, I doubt if it will be a situation that is peculiar to Nigeria. I think that this situation impacts everybody because crude oil, that is a feedstock of how refined products are, made and sent to the market, is an internationally traded product, commodity, and its volatility affects either by lower prices or higher prices. So in this case, the higher prices affecting replacement stock. So I really am concerned why a lot of hue and cry against the refinery that is doing us good by ensuring that we have petroleum product in country. Pricing will be a function, will be determined, I believe, by the forces that will guide demand and supply. And that's exactly what we're seeing. So our prayers and what we should do is just to be patient, expectant that these hostilities will abate and we can get back to normal.
And in the meantime, while we're being patient, businesses and people as well are kind of wondering how to live with the issues as they're affecting them today. Do you have any tips or any advice on how people should think about, just maneuvering these higher gas or fuel prices?
Yeah, well, for us in Petrol, I think it's a time for us to do some inward thinking and soul searching and where we are headed to. Let us assume that the gas revolution that was started almost a decade ago in Nigeria was on traction. As it is today, with the effort of the president's renewed hope process and agenda that has started, the CNG penetration strategies would have been much more successful. And I believe if that had been the case, this impact wouldn't have been felt so much in Nigeria, because most of us then would have been turning to other renewable sources of energy to fire the engines, of our economic growth. CNG would have been central. Electronic vehicles, so we would have had quite a number of EV charging points, and EV vehicles would have helped. But other than that, in a situation like this, I believe that what our president will do, not speaking for him, but from what I've seen him do several times, is going to intervene and see how best Nigerians will live better. And I believe if NNPC also had taken the business of fixing our refineries much more seriously and done what is required to be done, we probably would have had some additional cushion that would have helped us in different parts of the country. As it is today, we still have to lift products from Lagos and go through the laborious task of taking it across the country, especially to the south-south, which is why our prices are always much higher than everywhere else. So my suggestion is that the government will look into some of these things, quickly give energy to the CNG project. The new helmsmen at the PCNG should be able to work very closely with even organizations like Petrol to penetrate, the country, with gas utilization. That would have helped a lot. Other than that, I believe that there should be some economic computations and help to ensure that our transportation is somehow subsidized, and then maybe food that will be affected by inflation at this rate that the fuel prices are going up for nothing that anybody should accuse Dangote for, because it has to have replacement costs for the crude oil that is coming in, and we are not giving him enough crude oil from Nigeria. So regardless of how much crude oil we are touted to have or gas we have touted to have, if we are not producing them, we are not going to be able to have them to give to the requisite refineries that should be able to give us this salvation that we need. So for us, we are very thankful to Dangote for making a foresight investment and taking the steps to make sure that this happens. But we still call on him to work collaboratively with all the stakeholders so we can help, even in this situation, to make our distribution much more faster and much more efficient.
Now, there are indications that global oil prices have started to fluctuate as diplomatic signals emerge about a possible de-escalation of the war in Iran. Could this translate into relief for Nigerian consumers anytime soon, or would you say that Nigerian consumers should brace themselves for more price increases?
No, the price increases are not artificial. From what I have on my table, they're not artificial. They are facts, that we cannot ignore, because there is the trading aspect of refining, and there's also the distribution aspect of it. Either of them will be impacted by this war. If it de-escalates, it's going to impact positively on how our prices and our production capacity will be. If it escalates, then the fear that we might be heading towards buying petroleum product at about 1,009, 2,000 will be there. When we made our computations a few days ago, we calculated that prices would be above 1,000 naira or to 1,005. And then information reaching us as of the time we were doing our press conferences at the University of Ajuru in Port Harcourt, we also projected from the empirical evidence we have that it's possible that with the kind of situation we're seeing, where insurers are withdrawing their insurance from vessels vessel owners that want to take the risk of passing through the Strait of Hormuz and other related close-by areas where missiles are flying. If insurers withdraw their services, that will impact negatively on the trading volume. So there's quite a lot. It's not just a straightforward thing. There's so many indices that add up to this difficulty. So our expectation and prayer is that if our local refining capacity is, is upgraded, it certainly will help in ensuring that Nigerians will be cushioned, against this kind of volatile effect. But this is where we are, and this is why we are calling on all concerned to do the very best to ensure that we have our acts put together to look for how to assuage this, and also to ensure that while the future is yet unknown, we can prepare ourselves against any such volatile situation that will impact negatively on our economic growth.
And to your point, do you see this moment or everything that's happened ever since the war broke out, do you see this as a turning point for NNPC and for our local refineries to actually, as you said, get their act together when it comes to this? Is this a moment where it might happen? Are you optimistic about that?
Well, I'm optimistic about everything in Nigeria. This is Gillis-Harry's opinion. Never say die in Nigeria. Any great thing can happen in this country. I believe in the capacity that Nigerians have. We are intelligent. We have the mass marketing capacity and appetite for great developments. Give us a chance to be able to do something great. We'll exceed expectations. But whatever that has happened that has held us down, especially in this domestic refinery capacity, I believe that with the calls that various Nigerians, especially those of us who are in the business, that know that domestic refining capacity being improved and increased with the NNPC refineries working and other private refineries coming on stream like Bua, like Azikel Refinery in Bayelsa, it's going to be quite a lot of benefit for Nigeria. So yes, I believe that NNPC will definitely do a rejig, look at the opportunities that are there. We have called for PPP model, where we should be able to have the private sector drive the greater components of making that refinery to work, those refineries to work. So we expect them to be able to take us on that and find out what exactly we can do to make a difference. After all, no matter what is being refined, it is Petrol members and other marketers that will buy the products in the final analysis. So we should have a say, and we are having a say, and that's why we as responsible citizens of Nigeria, as a responsible organization, Petrol is calling out to ensure that everyone that should be able to do what we can do to make sure that our gas revolution is functional, our domestic refining capacities are optimal, we should be able to get that done. And I believe that our president, who I believe, truthfully in my heart, that has a magic wand that's going to change the way this country's economic growth will be, regardless of the kind of difficulties we're going through. Policies are being reeled out that we believe that could do as much as possible to make Nigeria a greater country.
So from the perspective of petroleum retailers, what urgent policy intervention should the federal government consider to protect consumers at this point?
To protect consumers, we've just said it. I said it earlier and I will say it again. Let us look at how to intervene in providing very quick intervention on transportation. Because that will very easily and quickly intervene into make sure that food price does not escalate. And Nigerians will be the better. Transportation, because as it is today, the cost of transport has gone up exponentially. And when we talk about exploitations, this is where we beat our chest in Petrol to say we don't exploit. We will only do what is accurate, what is having the eyes of how will I call it? The eyes of a very kind person because we are not looking to take advantage of Nigerians. So also we appeal to drivers, vehicle owners, that they should not take advantage of the situation and charge commuters or farmers or those who are going to the market much more because of these challenges. And if there are price increases at the pump price, the charges that is coming from the transporters should also be commensurate to that. So that way we don't just cripple the entire system. But the government can do quite a lot by intervening immediately, set up the spin doctors that can work out the mechanics of how Nigerians can be, insulated from further pains.
Billy Gillis-Harry, thank you very much for joining us on Newsday today. Great speaking with you.